Hello, my name is Christine Farion, and I am a teacher of design innovation and interaction design at the Glasgow School of Art. I love to research into forgetfulness and also visual impairment systems. I really love making things. So I love using Arduino-based components. I love exploring components and just seeing what new and exciting things are out there. I love using materials in alternative ways. I love doing wearables. Maybe it's an on-body system or it could be a near-body system. So I make a lot of handbags with technology in them as well for different purposes, which is great fun. So that's a little bit about me. I'm a Canadian living in Scotland, and today I'm going to be talking about rapid prototyping techniques for wearables. So quite often, if it's a new group of students that I'm teaching, I love to run a session like this because it's very high energy and it's really easy to do. It's so simple and it's so quick. And it's great because really a lot of the aims with this is that people can be a little uncomfortable or not confident with creating and making things. When you think about making things for a body system, it can make students a little weary or nervous about giving it a try, thinking it has to be something perfect and something that's going to last forever, which is great, but not when you're first starting. So when we're first starting, it's about creating a really rapid prototype, just a little proof of concept. So in terms of technology used, typically the first session, all that I would actually get them to use is foamboard. So they're not going to be using anything else. And it's just through using foamboard that we start to think of how can we take a material like this, a very firm material, and use this on the body. So this is really what a first session is all about. But eventually, when they start thinking about the technology, it could be using these floorboards, for example, which are fantastic for someone getting started with wearables. Again, Arduino-based systems, or something like the Circuit Playground Express boards. These are they're just superb because they have like every sensor that someone starting out would like to use. Lots of sensors on it, lovely NeoPixels on it, and really easy to program. You can just use Arduino, so it's a great learning step as well for them. And with a simple bolt-on kit like these screws, you can take a piece of fabric, quite a thick piece of fabric, and just screw that straight in, which is fantastic. So it's a really super way of creating a wearable design very, very quickly. So in terms of insights, this is just a great way for people to get prototyping, and it's a way that sometimes I myself might even start a design. I usually start with some kind of thick fabric. It might be a thick felt, for example, that maybe you're mapping your hand on. So useful items is foam board. You definitely need some foam board for this activity. You're going to need a knife, and what the students will end up doing is, and the session can be just on a morning, for example. It doesn't have to be a very long session. It could be you give them 45 minutes or an hour maybe for a task, because it's really about making decisions. So you give them time to make things. Other things that are going to be super useful are things like crocodile clips. These silicone crocodile clips are fantastic. They're nice small size as well, so they don't get trapped everywhere or in knots and things like that. So this is fantastic. And normally my circuits always end up getting mapped out with crocodile clips first. That is just a flex sensor that was made with felt and conductive fabrics, for example. Having good conductive materials is a great idea because you can make so many things with conductive materials and with different types of conductive threads. So for example, with different threads, so you can get some little conductive threads. This here, this little conductive steel ribbon is just fantastic for making things. Having things like this to hand just opens the horizon of things people can make. And having maybe two little patches of conductive materials, and you can use them on either side of a battery, for example, and you can make your own battery holders with something like this. So it's a really fantastic way to kind of learn. In terms of the challenge, I tell the students that a challenge will have considerations of position, what's the assigned area for them, The weight is something that they should consider. So they don't want to pile something up so much that it's very heavy for the person to use. It has to be comfortable, so I don't want it to fall off or to cut off their circulation. It has to still allow movement, so we don't want it to restrict them in any way. And the size does need to be reasonable for the area that they've been given. So those are sort of the parameters that I usually give to a student. But if you're doing this activity yourself, this is some of the things you probably will want to consider. And then if you do make something with foam board that maybe goes on a wrist area or similar, you will probably want to test it with people. So you'll probably get 5 people, 3 or 4 people is fine, but get some people to try the thing that you've made and give you some feedback on it. So then you can kind of change it up. And then once you've got a shape that fits and works correctly, that's when you can start sticking on your Arduino components. And it might be that you poke holes in it or you just tape the components on. You can use those 3D printer pens. That's a great way as well to kind of attach something to a structure like this. So there's loads of ways to do this quickly. And I also really make sure that they do have some kind of timer with them and they turn the timer and they stick to time, because it's great to have that knowledge that you've got to do this quickly. You really get good results with it. And it's just super fun when you do it that way. So once I've shown them about foam board, there is a great guide online. This is just a little screen capture from it. That is the URL for it, for this guide. It's fantastic. It shows you so many different cuts and ways that you can use foam board, which is just super good. So some example sessions. This is some of the designs that the students came out with. This was for measuring pregnancy kicks. This was for a distance sensor for, well, the whole COVID thing. So that was quite a nice design as well, all rapid prototyping. This was a new watch system. So the minutes are on the fingers and the wrist would be the hours. So really super quick and easy. And then this is like a finding your way home type of system. So it was just on that lower calf area they made very quick and easy. So we can see that using the foam board is just a super quick way to get people to make things quickly and in a really rough prototype way, but it's enough to get a proof of concept and it's enough to get it tested with people, which is really great. Another few sort of just examples are things like if you use felt, which I just showed, is this you can just very quick and easily make a glove, for example. So all you need to do is put your hand on this surface and like draw it out with some chalk and then glue the 2 sides together. So if you are doing something like that, normally if you trace around your left hand, that will make a right-handed glove. But just tracing around your hand is a great way to get a prototype. So this prototype here is just using this amazing conductive material, which is the conductive nylon. It just comes on a roll like this. So good, it's so conductive. And there's a little fake battery holder that we've sewn in here, again with conductive material. And when the 2 sides touch, as if a clapping motion happens, you get this light that happens. So super quick, easy system to make. It's rapid prototyping. I normally just give the students a very small session. They might make something for an hour, but they might do it twice. So first they might just build the shapes, and then the second iteration would be to build something with the Arduino components to make it a bit more difficult. You might want to think about also doing a little reflection afterwards, because that really helps to solidify some of that learning on what they enjoyed from that prototyping session, what they would do differently, and just kind of how they can make it a bit better next time. So those are all the different types of prototyping for super rapid prototyping, really quick, very low cost. It's very easy to do. So I've been Christine. Get in touch with me. Happy to hear from you. And yeah, I hope you've enjoyed the session. Thank you so much. Bye.